What's going on, guys? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and I'm back with another Xanathar's Guide to Everything Unearthed Arcana comparison video. This time we're discussing the final of the Ranger archetypes that was added in Xanathar's Guide, and that is the Monster Slayer Ranger. So, before we talk fully about this, I do want to point out that this originally started as a fighter subclass called the Monster Hunter, or something of that nature. It was since decided to be removed from the fighter class as a subclass that was heavily reliant, similar to what we saw in a lot of other classes that they debuted in Unearthed Arcana, that it was based off of superiority die, which they've since decided to make a Battlemaster only thing. I did think it was worth mentioning that it was there first. This was in this sort of gothic horror, the Gothic Unearthed Arcana, the one that had the Inquisitive. It was basically the Barovia update, if you will. And they have since changed it to be a Ranger, and I guess it sort of fits as a Ranger, but I do really like the abilities that the fighter had, like protection from good and evil once a day. Here they get it as a domain spell, so I get that. But they basically could do extra damage or maximum damage to certain creature types, and I enjoyed that. But let's take a look at what we get. Like we said at the beginning, all of the Ranger archetypes now get a single extra spell per level. We get here protection from evil and good, zone of truth, magic circle, banishment, and planar binding. That has been adjusted, I believe, to just be hold monster. Magic circle, banishment, yeah, now it's hold monster as opposed to planar binding. Hold monster is a more useful spell all around, especially for someone like a Ranger. So if you're going to use your 5th level spell, of which you may have 1 or 2 at the max, it might as well be worth it. Here you also had in the Unearthed Arcana Slayer's Eye. As a bonus action, choose a creature within 120 feet of you. You immediately learn the target's vulnerabilities, immunities, and resistances. You also learn any special effects triggered when the target takes damage, such as fire damage, halting its regeneration. In addition, the first time each turn you hit a creature with a weapon attack, target takes an extra d6 from that weapon. The benefit lasts until you target a different creature with this feature, or you finish a short or long rest. So I will also point out that I shit on this class hardcore when it first came out, and some of that was my own misinterpretation, but I think you might be able to see why. And it was that section there. In addition, the first time each turn you hit a creature with a weapon attack, the target takes an extra 1d6 damage from that weapon. This benefit lasts until you target a different creature or until you finish a short or long rest. I still don't like that wording, but my issue with it was the way it was worded when I initially read it. It sounded like this lasted until you took a short rest. It is unlimited usage. It just, the effect lasts on that creature until you target someone else, then ending it on that initial creature and applying it to a new creature, or you finish a short or long rest. My issue was, I thought, like, once you use it, it's on that creature till you target someone else, but I guess in my brain when I thought it was basically that was it. I did not realize that you could just apply it to a new creature, or apply it to, and like keep flipping it and moving it back and forth. So it essentially is almost like a Hunter's Mark spell, in that it is a bonus action to apply. It adds d6 weapon damage, although it is only the first time they take that damage on each turn. So if you have multiple attacks, which more often than not you would if you continue to play in the Ranger class, you'd have multiple attacks, so it only apply to 1. But it also gives you this other benefit. They tweaked that a little bit and split it into 2 abilities. So let's take a look. So first up, you have Hunter's Sense. As an action, you choose a creature within 60 feet. It used to be a bonus action in 120 feet. This now is an action 60. You immediately learn whether the creature has any damage, immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities, and what they are. If the creature is hidden from divination magic, you sense that it has no damage, immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities. You can now use this feature equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum of once, and you regain all benefits when you finish a long rest. Previously, because this was all tied to that one ability, this was unlimited use. You could use this as much as you wanted on different creatures, or until you finish a short or long rest, it would end that effect. It was out to 120 feet. It was a bonus action. It also told you things like effects like if like fire damage would halt the regeneration of a troll. It doesn't tell you that anymore. And let's see, it also it didn't state anything about them being hidden from divination magic. This is still working. So it used to just work all the time. Now it specifically states that if they're hidden via divination magic, or hidden from divination magic rather, this doesn't work, and it only does immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities. Nothing else. Cool. It is your whole action to do it. It's 60 feet closer, and now it's wisdom modifier times per long rest. So that kind of sucks. It's more balanced, I think, than giving unlimited that, and like, my only thing is, I don't know how your hunter, like, if you think about it, I guess you're magically peering at it to discern how best to hurt it. I feel like the whole thing about, like, fire halting its regeneration, that is so limited in what that is a thing that happens that I don't see why they took that out. Like, that's like radiant damage for a vampire halts regeneration, or fire damage for a troll, fire or acid damage for a troll halts regeneration. I don't think there are that many creatures that it's OP to have it, but maybe that's the other side of the coin, is there's not enough creatures for that to be a part of the ability. I don't know. And then they separated out the damage into a separate thing. This is now Slayer's Prey. That is still a bonus action. Now you're designating a creature within 60 feet. So that is still the same, although this used to be 120. Now it is 60, which is nice. Bonus action. The first time on that turn you hit a creature with a weapon attack, it takes an extra d6 damage from the weapon. It lasts until you finish a short or long rest. And it ends early if you designate a different creature. There, the wording is a little bit tightened up, I feel. I still don't like it, but it makes it seem like you can apply it to multiple creatures now. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. One creature you can see. Yep, and it says you hit him with a weapon attack. Yeah, okay, so that's all the same. So, we had supernatural defense before. Whenever the target of your Slayer's Eye forces you to make a saving throw, add a d6 to the roll. Now it is the same whenever a creature is target of your Slayer's Prey, and you make a saving throw, and whenever you make an ability check to escape their grapple, add a d6 to your roll. So they added a little bit extra to that, because it was just saving throws before. It is also whenever that happens. It's not based on a fail, so you just get this all the time to your initial roll, adding a d6. It's a d6, it's not game-breaking. It's better than a Bless spell, so that's pretty cool, or Guidance. We had a Relentless Slayer, as we've discussed before. Level 11 is typically where martial classes get their big benefit, their big boost as cantrips go up for the spellcasters. So, your study of folklore and arcane knowledge gives you the key insight into keeping your prey cornered. This one is not so much extra damage, but a cool ability. So, previously it was, if the target attempts to teleport, change its shape, travel to another plane of existence, or turn gaseous, you can use your reaction to make a wisdom check, contested by a wisdom check made by the target. To use this ability, you must be able to see the target and need to be within 30 feet. If you succeed, you foil its attempt, causing it to waste the action, bonus action, or reaction it used. This was pretty powerful. You had to be within 30 feet, but it was a lot of things, which some of it, I guess, doesn't make sense, and we'll talk about that. But it was a wisdom check, so you roll adding your wisdom versus their wisdom check, so saving throws didn't come into effect, which makes it arguably that much more powerful, because it's just a roll plus their wisdom mod, and higher level creatures aren't going to have... They may have a decent wisdom modifier, but they're not going to have, like, crazy saving throw... Or they might have crazy saving throw bonuses. This would negate that. And then it says, if you succeed, they waste the action, bonus action, or reaction that they attempted to use. Now, it is magic user's nemesis. When you see a creature casting a spell or teleporting within 60 feet of you, you can use your reaction to magically foil it. Now it's 60 feet as opposed to 30, but they make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC, or its spell or teleport fails and is wasted. Once you use this feature, you can't use it until you finish a short or long rest. Previously, it was unlimited, which was kind of nice, but it was very specific. teleport, change shape, travel to another plane of existence, or turn gaseous. It was also nice because it was contested checks, which means you get to roll. So you feel like you have a little bit more control over it if you're rolling the die compared to their roll of the die. If you roll routinely very badly, or you think your dice are cursed or something like that, having them make a saving throw is better, but adding their saving throw bonus on top of it to your spell save DC, which is keyed off your wisdom, which makes the wisdom check a little nicer in my opinion. And then, you know, it says they had to be within 30 feet. And here it said they didn't use they wasted the action, bonus action, or reaction. They did not, per that description, waste the spell slot. So if they were going to cast the teleportation spell or the plane shift spell, they waste the action, but they didn't actually waste the spell slot. Now, they do. But it also now says when they're casting a spell or teleporting, they're not tied together. So if they're going to cast any spell whatsoever, and they're within 60 feet, you can use your reaction to try to stop it. So you almost have a counter spell, if you want to think about it that way. But it is once per short or long rest. They must succeed on the wisdom save, or the spell or the teleport fails and is wasted. So it's cool that it's tied to just a spell now, or just a teleportation. Meaning that, like, you could shut down anything. You could shut down a fireball, whatever you want, which is very cool, as long as you're within 60 feet. But they're making a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC rather than a contested check. And again, over here in Unearthed Arcana, this was unlimited. As long as they were the effect of your Slayer's Eye, or they would be, you could use this. Now, they have to be affected, actually no, now they don't have to be affected by your Slayer's Prey. You can just do this regardless of that, but it's once per short or long rest. And lastly, Slayer's Counter. Wow, you can tell it's been a long day. If the target of your Slayer's Eye forces you to make a saving throw, you can use your reaction to make a weapon attack against it. You make this attack immediately before making the saving throw. If the attack hits, your save automatically succeeds in addition to the attack's normal effects. I believe it's exactly the same. If the target of your Slayer's Prey forces you to make a saving throw, use your reaction to make a weapon attack. You can make this attack immediately before making a saving throw. If your attack hits, the save automatically succeeds in addition to the attack's normal effects. So one thing I wanted to jump back to Magic User's Nemesis. When it was over here, Relentless Slayer, theoretically a druid could be attempting to wild shape, or a doppelganger could be attempting to change its shape, and you could just stop that with a wisdom check, which doesn't make a lot of sense how you'd be able, I mean, to just stop someone doing something that's a natural ability of their race or their class. Casting a spell, I feel, is different, because there's things you can do to interrupt it. But if a Moon Druid can bonus action Wild Shape, you could stop it previously. And they changed that. That's probably why it's just a spell. Here, the Slayer's Counter ability, whenever you make a saving throw, you can use your reaction to make one weapon attack. It does not have a distance, so as long as your weapon can hit them from whatever distance they're at, how far away they're casting their spell, you can do so. So if they are theoretically throwing a fireball at you from 150 feet away and you have the range, you can still make your shot against them. I will point out that your save automatically succeeds. That does not mean that you don't take any damage. If it is a spell that is like a save or suck or a save or die spell, hold person, something like that, you know, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Otto's Irresistible Dance, things that would force you to make a save, well, maybe not Otto's Irresistible Dance, but things that would force you to make a saving throw. If it's a save, and then if you pass, and that's it. This is a hugely powerful ability. It is also unlimited as long as the creature is the effect of your Slayer's Prey, which is unlimited in and of itself, but you just need to make sure that they're the ones that you target with it. You can use your reaction to make this weapon attack, and then again, if you hit, you automatically succeed the save, which is great for those type of spells. They're gonna plane shift you, they're gonna polymorph you, whatever. But they still take the damage of your bow. So they would still take the Slayer's Prey damage. They'd still take any bonus damage from your attack, but you'd still, even like if it was a fireball, right? you would automatically succeed, so you'd take half damage. You would also still take the half damage. And that's pretty much it, guys, for the Monster Slayer Ranger subclass. Let me know what you guys think. As I've said, I feel like the Rangers, they are all decently powerful options. I do feel like on the base level, maybe not so much of this one, but most of them, why would you want to play the Rangers in the player's handbooks? These ones all have extra spells, and they all seem to have decently boosted abilities to make them almost seem better. And I feel like that could potentially be by design, to try to make you temporarily forget about how bad the Ranger is and wanting to play one of these new classes. And then that sort of gives Wizards a little bit of the leeway on not publishing Revised Ranger. Because again, when Revised Ranger is published, these will also be usable for them as they are published subclasses. So, let me know what you guys think about this. Do you want to play a Monster Slayer Ranger? Do you want to play any of the new Rangers? I've seen some people already playing them, and they seem to be enjoying it, so I'm curious to see what you guys think. And be sure to come back and join me next time, where we'll be discussing the Rogue and the Inquisitive Rogue. So, anyway, guys, I'll see you next time.